Okay, ladies and gentlemen, swimmers, for those we've got a few minutes left, we can bring the points, the placings after day 3.
Are you hearing me on channel 6?
Reverse order, 10th place, 124 points, it's starting to go here.
It's important that we ensure every child learns to swim for safety, health, fitness and fun.
I think it's really good bonding with your baby. I think you get that kind of, they completely rely on you in the water and you're supporting them. And it's also knowing that they're going to then have that life skill to take on with them, I think is really important. So it's quite nice knowing that you're doing that for your child.
We've been coming to swimming lessons for about a year now, and when Sam started swimming he just wasn't confident at all. He was holding on to me, and we went to the baby and parent classes to start with, and then we've progressed to here, and his confidence, what he can do now in the water is amazing.
I think it's really important on a family aspect being able to swim so that your children can be safe with you, because if you're uneasy in the water, that's then portrayed over into your children as well. They pick up quite easily on that.
As a head teacher, I have to say I'm truly passionate about the children's swimming. In my 20 years here, it's the one sport that children have been involved in that I can truthfully say I have seen them grow and blossom in confidence in front of my eyes.
Going through, they're doing lessons from babies and then onwards, and then they get to that stage where they have all these skills. Then it opens up things like we have water polo groups that children go into, synchronised swimming and diving, because you can't try these things without being able to swim, so it opens up a huge amount of doors.
It's really important for children with disabilities to learn to swim. It can get them out of a wheelchair, it can get them supported in the water, enjoying the freedom of movement, and they're unique, these children, and they're on their own special journey. You know, and it's really important that the swimming teachers take them as far as they can on that journey.
I think it's important that every child learns to swim, one from a safety aspect. As they get older, it's important that they know how to be safe in water, and two, the health benefits from swimming are incredible. Children's respiratory systems become stronger, their hearts are working, they're getting that exercise that they need, and they're learning all these life skills that encourages them to stay healthy throughout their elder years as well.
To swim age 5 at my local pool, and believe it's important for every child in Scotland to be given the opportunity to learn to swim before they leave primary school.
We need your support at both a local and a national level to ensure every child can swim in Scotland.
Swimming.
A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 4 of the Scottish Gas National Age Group Championships here at the Aberdeen Sports Village. The event brought to you courtesy of our sponsors, Scottish Gas, Speedo and Scottish Salmon, and with the support of Sport Scotland. So we're excited to be back with you once again. I'm Duncan McKinnell, and I'm joined in the commentary box this morning by Mark Campbell. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Duncan.
We've had some pretty exciting racing in the first 3 days of competition, and we've got a 1500 freestyle to get us going this morning.
Yeah, it's 1500's typically a longer event, obviously, and it's good to see a lot of the guys can take off quite a lot from their time, so that's always nice to see.
Yep, so that should be good. We follow that with the girls 200 freestyle. We've got 8 heats to come in that. Interesting where in these heats we've got some of the youngsters sort of going up against some of the older swimmers in the heats before they get sorted out for this evening's finals.
Yeah, it's good for the younger guys to get a chance in the heats to race the older girls. Some of the Commonwealth 4x2 relay team swimming this morning, so great for the girls to get experience racing next to them.
Yep. Then moving on, we have the boys 100 breaststroke. So we've got, let me see, 8 heats of that. Daniel Lim will feature well, I would think, here. Chris Kerr, the 2 Warrender swimmers.
Yeah, I would expect Daniel Lim to get the victory. Chris Kerr was disqualified in the 200 breaststroke, letting Daniel Lim get the win, but we'll see if they can battle it out a bit more tonight.
Yeah, could be interesting, that one. And then on to the girls 100 backstroke. Some pretty classy backstroke swimmers in that. Lucy Hope, Chelsea Lawson, Kirsty Simpson, to name a few.
Yeah, the 200 was good a couple of nights ago, so hopefully we get the same kind of race in the 100. Chelsea Lawson was really strong in the second half, so we'll see if she's got the speed to win the 100 as well as the 2.
And then on the 200 butterfly, certainly in the older age group, you think maybe Bowman and Sharanik will star, but then there's Ryan Brown of Best as well, strong 15-year-old.
Yeah, and Ryan won't take his foot off the gas for the morning heats. He'll want to get out there and beat Sharanik in this morning's heat, so he's in the lane next to him in the final heat, so that should be a great race.
So that's our final individual event, and we've got the first heat of a couple of relays. We'll finish off the morning session. But if we go back to yesterday, Mark, what took your fancy?
Well, Ian Porteous, to start off with, was great in the 400 freestyle. Mark Sharanik was out really fast, but he planned his race. Ian planned his race to perfection, coming back at Mark really strong, using that distance pedigree he's used to do in the 1500 a wee bit more than the 4. So it was good to see him coming back really strong at Mark.
Then, of course, we saw Tane Bruce after that, 200 IM.
Yeah, she's featured pretty heavily in this competition. She was out so fast in that 200 IM. 103, I think she turned on, and that set her up real nice. 217, 29, she came back. Really strong swim. Great all-rounder, as we've seen throughout the week.
Absolutely, what a championship she's having. And then another swimmer who's having a really fine championships, young Mr. Ryan Retson of First.
Yeah, his 5th goal of this championships last night in the 200 backstroke. He's another great all-rounder, seems to lend his hand to everything, done about every event, so good for him, good to see. Yes,
and then one age group up from him in the 14-year-olds, local lad, Finlay Deans.
Yeah, Finlay Deans, an old training partner of mine. He managed to grab the 100 and 200 back title last night, so great for him. He's had some fantastic races with George Clough, so they'll be battling it out more as the week goes on.
Yeah, they are really dominating that age group. In the 15-year-olds, it was that man then once again, Craig McLean, not for the first time talking about him.
Well, I'm not sure there's anything Craig can't do. He seems to be breaking records right, left and centre. 200 back last night was another age group record for him, 205.2. What a swim that was.
So there was some terrific racing last night, really great atmosphere, but today is another day. And we're almost ready to go now. We've got the swimmers at the blocks for the first heat of the boys 1500 freestyle. The start sheet shows 6 swimmers here. I can actually only see 4 of them at the blocks at the moment, so we'll just see if we maybe just have the 4 here. And they're just clicking up towards 8:45, which should be when the referee blows his whistle. 8:59, 45, and there it goes. So it is just the 4 swimmers taking us off in this first heat. We have Oscar Heald of Elgin going in lane 5, Jack Watson, City of Aberdeen, in 6, Murray Quellant of Aberdeen in 7, and Aaron Stowe of Fife Performance in 8. Entry time 17:30, the fastest up to 17:50. So hope you've got your coffee and ready to sit back and enjoy one for the connoisseurs, the 1500 freestyle. 1500 free man yourself, Mark?
Absolutely not. It's the complete other end of the spectrum to what I used to swim. So I was more of a 50 man myself. I've never done a 1500, so.
Never ever?
Never ever.
There's always a first time.
We'll see. There's maybe a chance for me yet, but probably not. I'm not one to. I'm not a distance man at all.
So you must have trained with a lot of distance men then, and so what does the coach tell them about, particularly for these younger swimmers, all these swimmers, 15-year-olds, what should they be focusing on, particularly say in this early stage of the race?
I think the key is just to stay consistent. It's almost impossible if you're swimming it up and down the whole way. It takes so much out of you. So I know, yeah, loads of guys I've trained with over the years. They just try and keep it as consistent as they can. When they get to the halfway mark, they've really got to try and pick on, just to try and keep their pace up around the same level that they've been doing the whole race.
So I guess it's, how akin is it to your training sets, where you may be putting in a long training set as some of the same disciplines around level pacing, or trying to progress and progressively go faster as the race progresses?
Yeah, it's really difficult to do. You've got to stay so focused. Every single rep has to be spot on. You have to keep your stroke exactly the same. It's difficult to do. Whereas the sprint training, you just go as hard as you can every time. You're going to drop off, but in the sprint training, there's no room for dropping off.
So we're saying that it's the brainy swimmers that do the distance events?
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Right, okay, let's move on and let's focus on what's going on in the pool. And it's Oscar Heald of Elgin. He leads after the 200, 2:13.76, around about 109 pacing for him early on.
Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of Oscar swimming in Elgin. He's a North District man, so I've seen quite a lot of Oscar over the years, and he really is a decent swimmer. I would expect Jack Watson to probably come back at him a wee bit. He had a great swim in the 200 free earlier this week with 2 minutes point, so he's got a bit of speed in him. Let's see if he can stick with Oscar for that till the last wee bit, and he might have enough to pit past him.
Aaron Stowe is sticking in there as well, out in lane 8, and I think he's in second spot, in fact, ahead of Jack Watson at the moment, and only about a metre behind Oscar Heald as they come towards 300.
Yeah, these three guys at the front seem to be setting the pace. Murray struggling to keep up a little bit, but a long way to go yet.
3:23.53, so just shy of 110 for that third 100.
Still just sticking under 110, so that's what we need to see. He's staying consistent.
Of course, Jack Watson now will be doing a lot of his training in this pool. It must make quite a difference to the City of Aberdeen programme having this facility available now.
Yeah, it is such an excellent facility. It's nice to be up here today watching the swimming. We were stuck in a little box on poolside for the first couple of days, so it's great to be up here watching it. But yeah, these City of Aberdeen guys are in here every day. It's going to make such a huge difference to the swimming up here.
Yep, so Coach Gordon Glasgow, certainly a happy man now with his new toy.
Yeah, definitely. He's been blessed with this magnificent facility, so we'll be expecting some more results from him.
Was lying third. We just had an update on the top team before the session started over the public announcement system, and the top three were Warrender, Carnegie and City of Aberdeen in third place. Just slipping over the 110 for the fourth 100 there. So the pace just slipping back a little bit, and I guess that is the risk, that you think you're level pacing, but it just eases back, particularly if you're not really being chased hard.
Yeah, just a race against the clock. Obviously, they've got no idea what they're doing in the water. All they can look to is their coach to give them some encouragement, tell them they're still going well, but it is difficult when you can't see the clock.
Are you conscious of your coach on the side of the pool when they're running up and down and waving their arms and shouting at you?
I think for the shorter events, you're probably not, but in an event like this, you absolutely need them to tell you how you're doing. If you're going out too fast, it's sometimes impossible to tell. You need them to tell you to slow down a little bit, pick it up a little bit. if you're out in a race in front by yourself, it's absolutely impossible to tell.
So this is 1/3 distance then, 5:44.89. So we're up to about 1:11 now. Still Aaron Stowe is sticking in there in lane 8.
Yeah, he is putting on a good shift. These guys have got really nice strokes that are at the front. They're all continuous leg kick. Not easy to do that for a 1500, I should say, but yeah, they're managing it well.
It looks like Aaron Stowe is not a long way behind now. We'll just get the gap between them at this turn. 6:20.40 for Heald, 6:21.17 for Stowe. So what's that? 3/4 of a second, which is not a lot in a 1500.
Not a lot at all.
The City of Aberdeen man, Jack Watson, now about 4 meters back on the leading 2.
Yeah, he seems to be slipping back a wee bit. We'll see. Once they get to halfway, I would say he's probably been instructed to pick it up. It tends to be the way that Gordon goes, tells us to pick up at halfway. So we'll see if he's got a wee bit more left in the tank.
6:55.90 then. So again, 1:11. So that seems to be the new standard pacing here.
It's not bad if they can hold it around that mark. That'll be decent.
So the gap just increasing a little bit. Coming in towards halfway. That's the 6:50 turn. Another 100 will be the halfway point.
Oscar's just increased that lead a little bit again.
Does look like Jack Watson is now coming back towards the 2 in front of him in lane 6. He's cut the gap to a couple of meters now. Almost up with Aaron Stowe. In fact, he is up with Aaron Stowe now. .807.17. And it is Jack Watson now has moved back into second place. So we'll see whether he continues to close the gap. So as you were saying, Mark, maybe swimming to a plan here.
Yeah, I would say he's been instructed to go at halfway. Just a little bit before halfway, so obviously feels like he's got a little bit more to give.
Imagine these two will have swum against each other quite a bit, both obviously from the north. Will swum in district competition. In fact, we do have a bit of pedigree on that in the North District distance meet last year. Heald just had the edge, second to Watson's third. So Watson will be wanting to change that around this time. He's within a meter now. 9:18.44, 9:18.93. 1:11 once again. But Watson's pacing faster than that, and he is now alongside. So interesting phase here. If you are Oscar Heald at this stage, what are you thinking?
Well, it's difficult for him. He's got to think whether he's going to try and stick with Jack or whether he realises maybe not got enough. Maybe try and switch off from Jack completely, focus on his own race. If he gets too caught up watching Jack, he's going to feel under pressure, and it's not going to be positive for his swim.
So certainly Jack Watson has moved through now, and he's now got about a 2 meter advantage. Soon to get a sense of Jack's pacing, because you certainly feel that he has put a kick into this race now. Very purposeful.
Co-swimmers up on their feet now as well, trying to push him on. Definitely was instructed to go at halfway.
10:28.46. So the pace definitely has picked up, as he was about half a second back, so I think that was about a 69.5 for Watson. Heald looks maybe as if he's picked up his pace a little bit now as well. So whether that's, as you were saying, to try and respond to Jack going ahead of him, or whether that's his plan, you would think he'd be wanting to try and stick to his plan.
Yeah, but obviously it is difficult when you're put off by guys going past you. But he's doing a good job. He's sticking in. We'll see. There's still a bit to go. See if he can catch up a wee bit. But it really does look like Jack's extending away now.
Yeah, they're coming towards 1,000 meters now. So 500 meters, 10 lengths of the pool after this next turn, and about 4 or 5 meters now. Jack Watson's lead. 11:38.47, so around about 110. So that's quite handy, because with 1,000 to go, that's 6 minutes. So that would suggest something 17:38-ish, and you always expect them to accelerate in the final 100. So Jack Watson entered 17:36, suggests he's going to be there or thereabouts. Aaron Stowe now just falling away from the two from the north.
Yeah, struggled a wee bit with that early pace. That's the thing, when you've not got a huge plan, you just go in and race it in this kind of event. You're gonna pay the price for it. You've got to have a strict plan in place, and you've got to follow it regardless of what anyone else is doing in the pool.
Of course, his entry time is a fair bit slower, 20 seconds slower than Heald, so he's only probably around that sort of timing to come in within 20 seconds of Heald, so he could still post a decent time. 400 to go now, 17:49. The lead is nearly 4 seconds. Do you see Oscar Heald coming back at all in this last 400?
You never know, but the lead really does look quite big now. It would be a great finish from Oscar if he was able to catch that up. But it looks like Jack's going to have enough.
We'll just keep an eye on the gap. So as I said, it was just over 4 seconds at the 1100 mark. They're just coming through 11:50 now. 13:25 for Watson. Heald 13:29, so he's got it under 4 seconds, so 3.8 that time.
So he is coming back a wee bit. He's a great trainer, Oscar. I've had him on district camps and things like that, and he's great. He's always so willing to learn and listen, so putting that into practice here.
So some good noise from the City of Aberdeen band. They were in full voice yesterday evening. The drums are out there. The trumpets sounding. 14:00. 300 to go. Just check the gap again. It's back to 4 seconds. So if there was a wee push, it's not being sustained at the moment.
Jack maybe just swimming quicker in this half of the pool with his Aberdeen fans pushing him on.
Does that make a difference when you go past your team?
I would say it does. Obviously, I don't know, not doing the 1500s, but sometimes when you're cheering on the side, you do seem to notice them picking up a wee bit when they go past. So, you know, maybe the Aberdeen fans pulling them through here.
Certainly that 4 second lead looks pretty secure at the moment. And we'll start to run out of lengths fairly soon for Oscar to try and close it down. Does look to be increasing slightly again now. Into the final 200. 15:11.68. Heald 15:15.97, so just over 4 seconds now, 4.3. So I think we have pretty clear now as the race order. to be holding his technique pretty well.
Yeah, he's really come on over the last few months, Jack. I think probably training in this pool has helped a great deal in that, but he's moved up into the top squad at Coast and he really is starting to come on. Good swimming family, the Watson family. They've been involved for a long time with brothers Eddie and Charlie, but I'm not sure you would catch them doing a 1500 in a hurry.
So the youngster made of sterner stuff here, Jack. And this next turn, he will hear the bell. And that's always an encouragement for these distance swimmers. And he's got about 7 meters in hand now. So see how much he can pick the pace up in the final 100, 16:22.86. So he's pacing now around 1:11. So let's say he does about a 1:08 for his final 100. That would be about 17:30. 17:36 is entry time, so pretty sure he'll be inside that. Certainly looks to have picked up his stroke rate now. Coming towards the final turn. Oscar Heald has as well. These two now have a gap of 20-odd meters over Aaron Stowe and Murray Quellant about 10 meters further back. So down the final stretch then. Jack Watson, 16:57 at his final turn. 5 seconds now up on Heald, so they will be the 1-2 coming down this far last length.
Doesn't look like he's tying up either. His stroke looks really comfortable. Good swim from Jack.
Yep, just 10 meters to go now. And now it's about just getting those last few tenths out of this race. And he comes in 17:30.93, so he improves by nearly 6 seconds on his entry time. So good start to the morning session. Oscar Heald, 17:36.81, so he's just a little bit off his time. I suspect he'll be a bit disappointed with that. Aaron Stowe coming in for 3rd place. Let's just check his time, 17:52.97, so pretty close to his entry. And Murray Quellant completes the first heat, 17:57. And that result confirmed, and we move on to heat number 2. This time we've got all 10 lanes in use. Running through the field, we've got Henry Mackenzie of Warrender in lane 1, Vincent Shazhajdas of Stirling in 2, James Stephen of First in 3, Patrick Smith of South Esher in 4, Ross Gale of Ren 96 in 5, Jack Sharanek of Carnegie in 6, Jack Harrison of Warrender in 7, Ellis Lawson of First in 8, James Collier of Carnegie in 9, Finley Douglas of Geary in lane 10. Entry times in this one, 16:49 up to 17:16, so this should be a fair bit faster than the first heat. We've got 4 15-year-olds and the rest all in the 16, 17-year-old age group. 5 15-year-olds, can't count. So the first heat was a 1:04 for the first 100. This one a 1:02. Ross Gale with the early lead. Vincent Shazhajdas in lane 2. James Stephen, though, in lane 3 up there. And the Warrender swimmer, Jack Harrison, with Jack Sharanek beside him. Swap there. Talking of swimming families, it was nice to see Jack Sharanek make the podium yesterday. He's been in the shadow of his brother for a long time.
Yeah, we were saying that down in the commentary box ourselves. It was nice to see Jack, obviously a wee bit younger than his brother. He's got a couple of years to try and put a push in, try and reach the levels that Mark has, but it was good to see him getting a medal in the 53 last night.
Yep, bronze medalist. But it is lane 5, Ross Gale of Ren 96. About a body length advantage over James Stephen. 2:09. So about a 67 pace. So a fair bit faster than the first heat.
Yeah, we saw in the first heat it's not about setting the early pace, but Ross does look fairly comfortable this first 200.
We've got a few 15-year-olds to go in the final heat, so probably unlikely that there'll be medalists from this heat, but you never know if they can put out a really strong swim here. And certainly Ross Gale looks to be setting out his stall pretty well here. Don't see Ross doing the 1500 that often. 16:49 is entry time. Certainly at this pace, it's really only James Stephen who's going anywhere close to him. The others are a fair bit back now at this early stage, just 300 gone. 67-ish again for his third 100. Again, just checking the gap between first and second here. Gale 3:51 there, Stephen 3:53, so just over 2 seconds. Worth keeping an eye on that and seeing whether the rest of the field can claw back on the leading two. We've got a Carnegie Warrender contest going on for third place.
It's going to be a quick time through 400 this. I think Ross Gale just seemed to have a look up at the scoreboard there. It's one of his strokes, having a wee look at what he's going through 400.
I would imagine that's not recommended practice.
No, definitely not. He's broke his stroke a wee bit to have a look up at the board, but yeah, each to their own, I guess. His coach won't be too pleased, I would say, but
Sandy Blackwood, of course, head coach at the Wren program, is a very experienced coach. Been at Wren for quite a number of years now. Doing a good job down there. 4:58.56. Still just the 2.5 second gap between Gale and Stevens, so that's pretty steady. Still the two Jacks, Sharanek and Harrison, side by side pretty much. Contesting third with just behind them South Ayrshire's Patrick Smith. Some interesting stuff going on in that South Ayrshire program.
yeah, they're really coming through, especially the breaststroke events. They've been really strong.
With Karen Reid, a strong backstroker as well.
Yeah, she's been about for a wee while now. It's just really, well, she's still 14, I think. She's really making waves in the 50 back. Obviously not in the programme this week, so we'll maybe see her in the 100 today.
Patrick Smith showing that programme's not just all about sprints. As he is now pretty much up with that contest for third place. Jack Harrison, Jack Sharanek, the three of them almost together there at the turn. It was 5:50. Still Ross Gale. In fact, he's increased his lead a bit over James Stephen, I think. And these two, I think, easing away from the trio behind them. Gale 6:40.50. Around about 68 now. So he's holding his pace pretty well.
Yeah, when I watch Ross Gale swim, it always looks like he's dying a wee bit, but when you look at the board, his times are still staying fairly consistent, so must be doing something right.
I suppose you do just develop your own style. It may not be the classic style, but if it works for you. You're probably best. Are you best not to change it, or is it a bit like golf where you've got a swing that works, then don't tinker with it too much?
I think it's always can be good to take points from other people's stroke, but yeah, your stroke is definitely your own. You have to make that, but by no means that doesn't mean you can't take pointers from other guys. I mean, it doesn't really matter what Ross is doing over the top of the water. He's getting hold of that water once he gets in, so it doesn't matter. That's what's going to pull him through.
And he goes through 7:49, so he is pacing very consistently. So this next turn will be the halfway mark. The gap now about 4 seconds between him and James Stephen. James Stephen, 17:05 entry time, did that not that long ago at the West District Open at the Dolan Bath and East Kilbride, silver medalist there. So we know that he can swim to that sort of pace at the moment. We may be looking to kick on. He's in the 16-17 age group, as is Ross Gale. Ross 17, James 16.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Patrick Smith get into this battle for a second. He seems to be really pushing on now. He's dropped the two jacks a little bit. Still a bit to go. Patrick could get up into this battle for a second.
Yep, so we'll keep an eye on that one. 8:58 Ross Gale. 8:9:02 for James Stevens, so he's 4.5 seconds back on Ross, and then Patrick just coming through his turn, 9:10. So he's about 12 seconds back at the moment. That's a lot to make up. But we'll just keep an eye on that, whether he can start to close that. Certainly Jack Harrison's fallen away, and Jack Sharanek now on his own in 4th place, about 4 meters back from Patrick Smith.
Jack Sharanek looks totally in control of this race so far. He does look like he's got more to give. We'll see if he picks up a little bit, but his stroke rate's really low. His stroke's long. We'll see if he's saving a wee bit more. Still, Ross Gale really showing everyone else up in this race.
So 900 meters, 10:07. 16:09 pace there. Now we talked about the gap back to Patrick Smith. Let's check that, 10:20. So it's still increasing. In fact, it's now 13 seconds. So not sure I'm buying your Patrick Smith comeback theory.
Maybe not. I thought James was starting to look a little bit erratic, but he's just found a second wind, pushing on a wee bit more.
So First have had a very successful program for a few years now, based out of the Falkirk area under coach Stephen Tigg.
Duncan Scott and Charlotte McKenzie definitely the standout performers from those bunch, I would say. They've both had decent seasons. Charlotte had a bit of injury trouble, so didn't quite make the trials, but Duncan Scott's definitely had a great year.
Yeah, and he's been performing with distinction down in Manchester this week at the British International as preparation for his trip to the European Juniors. Still in this race, it's Gale and Stephen. That's 7-8 meters separating them. And certainly Ross Gale working pretty hard.
He definitely does make it look difficult, but it seems to be effective for him.
And still has over 5 seconds of advantage, and that lead gradually building, so it would be a surprise now for Ross Gale not to win this heat. He's, what, 8-9 meters up. 400 meters to go. 12:25. .12:31 for Stephen. Smith going through 12:40. We're going to get a swimmer. Well, in fact, we've already had a swimmer lap, I think, here. Or just about to, anyway. Lane 2 is going to succumb, I think. Vincent Jasashtas. It's a bit dispiriting. And he's got to just swim his own race. On scale now. Moving up. 13:32. Looks to be picking up his pace a bit now. Under 68 there.
Increasing that lead again, I would say, from Jade Stephen again. So he's paced this well. He knows how much he's got left.
This is a 17-year-old. He's a fairly experienced swimmer now. He'll, I guess, know what he's got in mind and have the experience to be able to execute it.
He just wanted to go out and take this race by the scruff of the neck. He was out really fast, and it's just hold on to that lead, just extended it ever since then.
.14:40, 200 to go. So again, around 68 pace. So we'll maybe be in the low 1650s here. 16:49 entry time. I think it might struggle to match that. But he won't be far away from it. Still, it's the same order. It's been for a while now. Stephen second, Patrick Smith third, Jack Sharanek fourth, Jack Harrison fifth. All fairly well spread out now. Probably the biggest lead is the one at the front. Ross Gale then, coming towards the bell. The bell sounds and Ross goes through 15:49. So he'd need to do a 66 final. In fact, I'm misreading that. He'd need to do a minute for his final 100.
Yeah, he's picked up a little bit, but he's not going to come back sub 60. So he's not going to hit his PB this morning, but not a bad swim, considering the circumstances. He's out by himself, having to set the pace. It's not always easy. He'll maybe think he's on for a really good time, being so far ahead. But
so final turn for him, and down the last length. James Stephen through in second place. Stephen's entry time 17:05. Expect him, I think, to achieve that. So 10 to go for Ross Gale. Drives into the wall and comes in 16:55.06.
I guess that could have been a conversion he was entered on, so that might be a decent swim for him.
17:04.79 for Stephen, so just going a few tenths inside his entry time. Patrick Smith in third. Now there's a good race going on for fourth here because Jack Harrison has come roaring back here and has gone past Jack Shiranek. So a nice little subplot there between the two Jacks. Of course, great rivalry between those two programs, Warrender and Carnegie. So he'll have enjoyed that. And that, of course, will give them some points, I'm sure, in the top team trophy. So Warrender leading the way here and Carnegie in second place. So it all helps the team cause. And they really care about that top team. Particularly the teams that think they've got a shout. So just waiting for our final swimmer to complete his last length. That's Vincent Gisastes, just having a probably not his best day in the pool. Gives the other swimmers just a chance to cool down a little bit. Quite enjoy that, I would think, when there is a little bit of time just to rest there and ponder. Some fairly red faces. Ross Gale in particular, our winner. And the results summarised. Ross Gale then 16:55.06 takes it. James Stevens second, 17:04.79, and Patrick Smith third in 17:20.97. One heat to go. Again, we've got all 10 lanes occupied. Through the lanes, we have John Wright of North Ayrshire in 1, David McGregor of Dumfries in 2, Simon McCormick of Derwentside in 3, Angus Barr of South Lanarkshire in 4, Chris Lowther of City of Glasgow in 5, Ian Porteous also of City of Glasgow in 6, Donny Price of South Mainland in 7, Scott McClay of Perth City in 8, Joe Steele of South Aberdeenshire in 9, Tom Bealey of Aberdeen in 10. We've got 3 15-year-olds in this final heat, Angus Barr, Scott McClay and Tom Bealey. A couple of swimmers in the 16-17 age group, John Wright and Donny Price, and the others in the 18 and over. So we talked at the top of the broadcast around youngsters taking on older, more experienced swimmers, and I think we could see this with Angus Barr, the youngster, against the two Glasgow boys.
Yeah, Angus Barr will have forgotten about the age for this race. He'll want to get in there and get the win. Has had a stunning year so far. He looked very impressive in the national championships down in Toll Cross, where he was 4th. So he's had a few good years, Angus. He's a big guy. He tends to swim well at the end of the season. At the ASA's end of the season, he always seems to swim really well. So he's starting to come to that time. He's probably coming into feeling like he's coming into a bit of form.
He has the junior record for the 4 and the 800 freestyle. He's a legendary name, has the junior record in the 1500, and that's Graham Smith, the great from Stockport. That was set way back in 1992, so it must be about the oldest record in the book. Angus's entry time is pretty close to that, 15:47.50. So just a quarter of a second away from it. I would be surprised if he got it today, because he's not really been swimming to his time so far this week, but you never know. This might be the one that he's decided to focus on. You know, talking to his coach Andy Figgins earlier in the week, and he was saying very much for Angus, it's about the ASA Championships in Sheffield this year. That's where the pinnacle of his season is targeted for. So this is just a milestone on the way for that one.
Angus does seem to to pick it up for that meet in Sheffield every year. He always seems to swim well there.
He's right up there with the two from Glasgow, Chris Lowther, Ian Porteous. We were talking about Ian Porteous earlier in the 400 freestyle. He was impressive there.
Yeah, it showed good stamina at the end of that 400 to come back and beat Mark Saranik in the last 100. So hopefully he's feeling like he's fit enough to get in and do this 1500, set a good time.
And he just had a narrow lead there at the 300, pacing around 65s. The three of them all well matched at the moment. Fourth place. That's fairly close. Lanes 2, 3 and 9 all up there. David McGregor in 2, Simon McCormack in 3. Joe Steele. He's had some good races this week. In South Aberdeenshire swimmer. But I think this is going to be all about these top three. Porteous still with the edge from Barr. Lowther in third.
Chris Lowther just a little bit behind, but he's experienced, he knows what he's doing. Great turn there from him. He looks in control. Still have plenty. He won't be worried about these guys being ahead of him right now. It was a great turn from Chris Lowther. He'll be fairly in control of this race. Again off the wall, 3, 4 really good fly kicks. He won't be worried about these guys being ahead of him. Although he does look to be slipping back a little bit.
Yeah, it's at the moment very much Porteous and Barr. 5:22.3, 5:22.6, then a second and a half back to Lowther. But I think you're right. Lowther, I don't think will be too bothered about that. He's pacing to his own pace, and I think he'll certainly feel that he's well in touch there with the two in front of him. Angus Barr making a little move now, maybe. Just 500ths in it in that turn. Barr just for the first time, certainly since the very early stages. Just in the lead now. This one could boil up quite nicely, I think. 2 meters between first and third. It is Angus Barr who's just moved it on a bit. 6:27.13 now. Just ducking under the 65. Maybe had the signal, but perhaps they weren't pacing quite the pace that he was targeting. Therefore, it's not just enough to stay with the Glasgow boys. He's got to push on. So let's see what his gap is. Well, it's not huge, 4/10 only. So Porteous covering the move. Chris Lowther's lurking there in third place. Biding his time, maybe.
I don't see Coach Andy Figgin sat on the far side of the pool, but he'll definitely be giving Angus some encouragement. He always gets very animated when the swimmers are in the pool, so he'll be keeping Angus right, making sure that he's on pace.
7:32. So again on the 65 mark. Lowther now alongside Chris Lowther and Ian Porteous both up here at the Grand Prix, the end of May. Lowther 4th in that one, Porteous 5th. Looking at other times where they swam against each other, they swam against each other at Toll Cross in the National Championships. That time it was Porteous 5th and Lowther 6th, so that makes it 1-1 in recent competition against each other. So maybe this is the decider.
Yeah, they'll obviously be keeping tabs of that as well. They'll probably be reminded every day in training when they're next to each other. They'll do so many sets together.
And look at that, 3 of the swimmers now in a line. Off they go through the turn. 8:37.65 to 8:37.93.
Lowther definitely has the advantages around the walls. His turns have been excellent so far.
Just when you're doing so many turns over the distance events, that all adds up to quite an advantage if you can do it consistently better than your competition. Now just on Barr's shoulder. Well, in fact, actually, got that one wrong because he leads 9:09.96. While you're watching this, don't forget the Twitter feed. Tell us what you're thinking, who you're supporting. Hashtag Stags Live. 42.21. So these 65s just being banged out time after time.
So close as well. Seems like we've got a different leader after every single 50.
Of course, there's some medals at stake behind these guys. Lane 3, Simon McCormick. Try and get my tongue around that one. Simon McCormick of Derwent's side. He goes in the 18 age group, so currently, I guess, lying 3rd in that age group, so potential for a bronze medal for him. And behind him, David McGregor in the 15 age group, so he'll be looking to get on the podium in the 15 age group. So Ed, how do you see it shaping up from here between these three, Mark?
I think Chris Lowther has been in control the whole race. He seems to have the slowest stroke rate. Doesn't seem to be as tired as the other two. Still going really strong off the walls. I would say it's probably his race to win. But these guys aren't really not going to let him have it. He's still working so hard.
Does look like Chris Lowther just maybe edging a little bit up. And Porteous, as soon as you say that, seems to respond. Does it look like Angus maybe, is he working slightly harder than the other two?
Yeah, Angus is another one who doesn't look that pretty over the water, but once his hands get in there, he really grabs it. But he is starting to look a little bit tired now, maybe.
They have upped the pace now. They're consistently going under the 65s now, 64.5-ish. So that, I think, was probably Chris Lowther that has triggered that. It's been up to the other two to respond. So it'd be nice to see a storming sprint finish at the end of the 1500. Looks like it might be between Chris and Ian, because Angus is now about, well, 2.5 meters back.
what Angus needs to do now is still just focus on his own race. Those guys are going away from him. He can't let that make his swim. Oh, he seems to be really going for it off that wall, but it seems as though those guys are just getting away from him.
Yeah, well, there's pretty much on cue as you said that. He's saying, nope, sorry, Mark, that's not going to happen. I'm going to come back and attack these older boys.
I would love to see it. It'd be good for him to get in amongst these guys. He definitely wants to. You can see him looking every stroke.
So it's 13:27.88, 13:27.99. Ian and Chris, 13:29.40 for Angus. So a second and a half back. So he's hanging on there. And this is really shaping up nicely now for a grandstand finish.
You don't often see this. 3 guys in the 1500, still so close at the end.
200 to go. Porteous and Lowther through together. In fact, tied there at the 1300, both on 14:00:35. Bar 14:01.73, so about 1.3 back. Lowther just getting the jump down this length. So the swimmers on poolside need to get into this race now. It does look like Angus Barr has lost touch with the 2 in the centre lanes. So it's going to be Porteous and Lowther sorting this one out in the final 100.
They're not quite going to be on their PBs, but it's just all about getting the win now.
Yep, and they'll want this to take it back into the training. Of course, they'll be out of their training base at the moment in Toll Cross, because of course that's getting ready for the games now. And I'm sure they'll be training hard in other Glasgow facilities as we come to the final turn then. And you still can't call it. Through they go. The touch with Porteous, 35.75 against 36.13. So Ian Porteous out of that turn, really charging on now. Those legs going really hard. Lowther is now over a body length back. So this is looking like Porteous is going to take this. 15 metres to go then. So it's Ian Porteous into the final 10. And he's been very impressive down this stretch here. So Ian Porteous is going to take gold, 16:05.25. Finishes with 61 and a bit. Second place, Chris Lowther, 16:07.20. And Angus Barr takes third, 16:15.40, and that will give him the 15-year-old gold medal. So an excellent race that.
Yeah, great finish again from Ian Porteous. He'll be delighted to get another gold to his name. Good finish, just like he did in the 400. Just bided his time, waited for his chance, and then really destroyed that last 50.
So coming in for 4th place there, Simon McCormack, 16:41.74, so that will get him onto the podium. Coming in for 5th, John Wright, 16:51. Joe Steele just behind him, 16:52, as the remaining swimmers complete their race. So just to summarise that third heat then, we have Ian Porteous the winner, 16:05.25. Chris Lowther was second, 16:07.20. Angus Barr third, 16:15.40. So from 1500 we go to 200 freestyle for the first appearance of the girls. 8 heats here. You can see 5 girls standing at the blocks ready to go. Heat number 1 then. Anya Reid of First goes in 3. Erin Robertson of West Lothian in 4. Katie McKenzie of Highland in 5. Laura Harrison of Highland in 6. Charlie Cavens of Warrender in 7. 5 14-year-olds in this first heat. Entry times 2:18, 2:19. So it should be pretty close. First turn leading the way, the Highland swimmer 31:16, Laura Harrison. As her teammate Katie McKenzie. Of course, a huge geographical area that the Highland swim team covers. Laura from Nairn, Katie, I think based in Inverness at the moment, but originally from Skye.
Few good swimmers coming out of Skye over the past few years.
And it's still Laura leading, 1:05.78 at halfway. Second place, Erin Robertson of West Lothian. Third place, Katie McKenzie.
These girls will obviously have an eye in the final. The target for them will be to try and just sneak it into the final. There's another few 14-year-olds to go, so they'll be trying to pull one out of the bag and sneak into the final tonight.
142.5. So about 37 split. So there or thereabouts, I would think, on their 2:18 entry time. In a line behind Laura, all the other 4 swimmers. And they're starting to close her down. So coming into this last few meters, and the 2 Highland girls, Katie McKenzie coming through, and the first girl in lane 3, Anya Reid. And Katie McKenzie does take it 2:18.22, just nudging past her teammate by 300ths. So good finishing skills there. Kenzie taking it 2:18.22. Laura Harrison second, 2:18.25. Anya Reid in third, 2:18.40. To heat 2, Kara Sinclair of Orkney in 1, Kate Story of Helensburgh in 2, Katie Smith of East Lothian in 3, Amy Hurd of Carlisle Aquatics in 4, Ellie Neal of Warrender in 5, Natalie Lees of West Lothian in 6, Heather Mulvaney of City of Aberdeen in 7, Nikki Miller of South Lanarkshire in 8, Claire Lee of Carnegie in 9, Amy McCrosty of Dundee City Aquatics in 10. Katie Smith, 31.13. She took the Scottish gold medal in the 100 freestyle. Was 4th overall, but with 3 non-Scots in front of her. But too close really to call down the second length here. Whole raft of swimmers, lane 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up there with lane 3, Katie Smith. I think it will be Katie still leading through the halfway point. Just 1:05.67. Only a 10th faster than the first heat. Katie Smith, the East District age group champion, has now beside her the Helensburgh swimmer Kate Story and lane 6 Natalie Lees. Kate Story now has the edge in lane 2. Lane 8 going well as well. Nikki Miller. See who gets the touch. Not a lot in it, but it is Kate Story, 1:41.27. Katie Smith fading to back now. Kate Story, silver medalist at West District senior age groups. Like it's Nikki Miller in lane 8 from Kate Story, and then lanes 5, 6 and 7 moving up. And Nikki Miller has the advantage in lane 8. Heather Malvani and the Warrender swimmer Ellie Neal pushing on, but it's Nikki Miller, 2:15.66. 2.5 seconds faster than the first heat in the end. And second place, Kate Story, 2:16.24. Third, Heather Malvini, 2:16.57. So on to heat 3, Brooke Gillies of Carnegie in 1, Hannah Zurich of Warrender in 2, Lauren Sutherland of Midlothian in 3, Hayley Grant, Dundee City Aquatics in 4, Kirsty Pitts of Perth City in 5, Claire Maloney of Carnegie in 6, Alex Cunningham of East Lothian in 7, Harris Ritchie of South Ayrshire in 8, Kirsten Clark of City of Glasgow in 9, and Sophia Green of Elgin in 10. 2:14s, 2:15s, the entry times here. A couple of 14-year-olds in this one, and the rest all in the 15-16 age group.
Yeah, Ailey Grant, one of the 14-year-olds, has been having a great meet. The girl from Dundee City Aquatics, so expect she probably won't feature too much this morning, being in with the older girls, but expect her to be up there in the final tonight.
Well, she's up there at the moment in lane 4. Pink cap of Dundee City Aquatics. Turns 1:03.98. One of the highlights for me last night was the medley where Dundee City Aquatics picked up the bronze, and their coach on poolside was going absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, that's the first time in a while Dundee have been in a position to win a relay like that. So that's good work from Stephen Funai. He'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and he was decked out in all his regalia as well. Looking pretty in pink hair. 1:38.97, still Eddie Grant leading the way, but Kirsten Clark of City of Glasgow is not far behind now. She's in lane 9. Lane 3 up there as well, Lauren Sutherland, Midlothian. Quarter length back on Ailey, but it does look like it's Eddie Grant and Kirsten Clark who are going to sort this out when there's so many lanes between them. Do you have any idea what's going on?
It is on freestyle especially, they can look along the line, so they'll have a rough idea. But Ailey Grant getting the win there, that's a really good swim from her, getting amongst the older girls and doing her stuff.
Yep, nearly 2 seconds inside her entry time, 1 minute, 1 3/4. And confirmed there as the winner, 2:13.05, with Kirsten Clark second, 2:13.44. And Midlothian's Lauren Sutherland in third, 2:14.07. All 3 of them inside their entry times. On to heat 4, Libby Adams of Warrender in 1, Erin Robertson of South Ayrshire in 2, Jessica Thompson, City of Aberdeen in 3, Mari Swanson of Warrender in 4, Lizzie Cleland of Best in 5, Erin Cummins of Perth City in 6, Megan Feld of South Aberdeenshire in 7, Lucy Ellingworth of South Ayrshire in 8, Katrina Fowley of North Ayrshire in 9, and Ailsa Beck of South Aberdeenshire in 10. Erin Cummins, first up to 50, 30.41. Pretty even this one. Erin in the red cap. Still just has the edge. Sam Dixon in the Perth club has produced some fantastic swimmers. Because probably the star of that show, Stephen Milne.
Yeah, Stephen Milne Camilla, who swims at Glasgow now, but they're both in the Commonwealth team. She's done a great job, particularly with the freestylers. So looks like Erin's another one of those breeds. She's got a nice stroke, really strong leg kick, she's sitting right on top of the water. Good stroke.
See if she's going to come under any pressure in the second half here. Border swimmer Lizzie Cleland starting to make a move, going well over on the far side. Ailsa Beck. And 3 not too far away. Jessica Thompson. In fact, she's up to second now, just behind Erin Cummins, 1:38.41. And half a second faster than the previous heat here. And, if she's going to hold on this, Erin is going to have to work hard down this last length, but I think she's doing that.
Jess is strong down this last length, so see if she can maybe sneak a win, but it does look like Erin's going to hold on.
Yes, in fact, it's more than holding on. She is a body length clear now and comes in 2:11.75. Over half a second inside her entry time. So nice swim from the Perth girl. Jessica Thompson taking second, 2:12.68, and Megan Feld third, 2:13.05. Heat 5 now. Olivia Jackson of South Lanarkshire in 1, Kimberly Mackay of Warrender in 2, Ola Adams of Geary in 3, Jenna Lafferty of First in 4, Alicia McCracken of First in 5, Connie Mackay of Wren 96 in 6, Cara Layden of Kelly College in 7, Gemma Layden of Plymouth Leander in 8, Emily Grant, City of Aberdeen in 9, and Alexandra Bryce of First in lane 10. Lane 7, Cara Layden looking good here. Gold medalist in the 100 freestyle.
Yeah, using her speed, Cara. She's youngster of the field again. Looks to be taken out quite strong, but Orla Adams also looking really good down this first 100. She's going to turn first.
Yeah, so Orla, 400 IM winner back on, I think that was on Wednesday. They slightly blurring together now. Was on the podium again in the 200 IM, bronze medalist last night. She certainly has the measure here. Of course, long-time training partner of Hannah Miley in the Geary programme. Turns for home, 35.40. Don't really think of Orla as a 200 freestyle swimmer.
I guess, same as Hannah, she can lend her hand to just about any event. Being able to do the 400 IMs, you've got to be pretty good at every stroke, so almost every event to be good at that one. So.
And she's certainly shown some nice form this weekend. Look, we're seeing that again here. 2:11.60 her entry time. She's going to be well inside that. So that's a classy swim there. 2:08.24. That would certainly take her well up the standings, you would think. And I think she would be looking for a place in the final with that time in the 17 and over age group. Summarising the result, Orla Adams then, 2:08.24. Connie Mackay in second, 2:11.49. Just 100th in it for third place. Olivia Jackson just sneaking at 2:12.87. 6. Up now, the first of the cycle-seeded heat. We have Lauren Pirouet of first in 1, Jordan Sturt of Warrender in 2, Caitlin Tootle of City of Aberdeen in 3, Jessica Christie of South Aberdeenshire in 4, Lucy Hope of Best in 5, Gillian Clark of East Lothian in 6, Zoe Giddon of Northampton in 7, Chanel Snedden of First in 8, Karen Reid of South Ayrshire in 9, and Jennifer King of North Ayrshire in 10. Caitlin Tootle turns first, 28.99. Lucy Hope just edging through now. In lane 5, part of the 4x200 team to perform for Scotland in the Commonwealth Games. Participant at the Euro Juniors last summer. Turns just over the minute, 60.37. Well clear of the rest of them now. So she's taking this heat swim pretty seriously, Mark.
Yeah, she's gone out fast, still working really hard down this third 50. Probably a bit of a training meet for her, looking forward to the Commonwealth Games. She's just getting in, getting a bit of race practice.
What's your approach to heats where you were pretty confident of a strong lane? Would you like to go out fast, or are you quite happy to coast it and then save yourself when it matters?
Well, with me doing 50s, there's not really much room for error when you've got so many strong swimmers in the event. You kind of got to go for it, but when you know you're going to make the final, Lucy is really taking the edge off now. She knows she's going to be in the final in a decent lane. She can take the pressure off a bit now.
Good three-way tussle behind her as Lucy Hope comes in 2:05.63. As you said, to take the gas off there, so 60.3 for her first 100, 65.3 for her second 100. Jessica Christie it was taking second, 2:07.44, just ahead of Zoe Giddon and Gillian Clark.
I would say Lucy will be quite happy with that swim, considering how easy it looked on that second 100. So she'll be fairly happy with that.
Heat 7, Chelsea Lawson of Carnegie in 1, Zoe Mitchell of Carnegie in 2, Sarah Branch of Northampton in 3, Abby Houston of Dumfries in 4, Rachel O'Donnell of Carnegie in 5, Rachel Masson, South Aberdeenshire in 6, Samantha Caulfield of Carnegie in 7, Jessica Wilkie of Edinburgh University in 8, Gulsum O'Neill of West Lothian in 9, and Ailsa Timoney of Warrender in 10.
Chelsea Lawson has pulled out of this one. She must be saving for the backstroke later on.
Thanks for that spot. So, was 4 Carnegie swimmers, now 3, but in the centre, Rachel O'Donnell, one of them, but she's got the lead at the moment. That looks to be Rachel Masson beside her, just with the edge.
Yeah, Rachel's already won the 50 and 100, so using her speed down that first 50, but I would expect that she would ease off to try and make this final.
And it is O'Donnell just edging past us, 61.09. So a little slower than Lucy Hope's 100 split. The other side of Rachel O'Donnell in lane 4, Abby Houston. A distance specialist. Of course, 200, I guess, is where the sprinters meet their middle distance swimmers. Sarah Branch, the youngster, having a good meet in lane 3, just behind the leading group. 5th place, Gulsum O'Neill also going well over in lane 9. But it is O'Donnell and Masson, the 2 Rachels, in the centre lanes. Now pretty much side by side, and they'll save their energies, you would think, for the final. They won't worry too much as to who takes this. Well, maybe Rachel O'Donnell just does a little bit, because she does make sure she had about half a metre or so there at the end. 2:05.31. 3/10 in the end faster than Lucy Hope's time, but the final will be another race. Still, of course, one heat to go here. Confirming the 1, 2, 3, Rachel O'Donnell 2:05.31, Rachel Masson 2:05.68, Abby Houston third 2:07.30. Heat 8, Meg Finnan of South Lanarkshire in 1, Emily Horn of Perth City in 2, Jennifer Henderson of East Lothian in 3, Rebecca Murray of First in 4, Hannah Miley of Geary in 5, Hayley Monteith of Edinburgh University in 6, Katie Stark of Warrender in 7, Hayley Duthie of City of Aberdeen in 8, Emily Hewitson of Dumfries in 9, Ivy Lauren Richter of Hong Kong Island in 10. Hannah Miley. Another swim for her here. Seems to like swimming in this pool. She came pretty rapidly up the road from Manchester to swim a good few events up here with us. And leads by a body length from Rebecca Murray and Hayley Monteith. 60.17. So that is just 800 slower than the previous heat. The 100.
Hannah still putting in a fair shift. She's still working pretty hard in this third 50, stretching her lead out. Rebecca Murray working quite hard in lane 4 as well. She's having an alright swim.
Rebecca, 17-year-old now. It seems hard to think of her in the oldest age group, but catching up with us all, and she is now in the 17 and overs alongside her Hayley Monteith down at Edinburgh University from these parts.
Yeah, Hayley, I used to train with her back in the day, but she's had a really good season. She's swimming well.
So 2:02.47. Clearly the fastest time there, and she pushed that second half pretty hard there, Hannah. Didn't slacken off really at all.
Yeah, it's just about the training for Hannah at the meet like this. So she's going to try and put as much as she can into every race, just to try and pick up her fitness. It'll be obviously eyes in the summer for her.
So Miley 2:02.47, Monteith second 2:06.23, and Murray third 2:06.70.
Hannah's so fit as well. She doesn't really need to worry about saving herself. She always seems to have energy from somewhere.
Yep, so achieved 4 individual Commonwealth times. Of course, they're 2 individual medleys, and adding to that the 800 free at Tollcross, and then she topped that up here at the Grand Prix in the 400 freestyle. And she's looking very strong, very fit at the moment, so we'll be hoping for great things for her. But we're going to a medal presentation now, so this is the 1500s. The boys 15-year-olds. And first to receive the medal is Perth City Scott McClay. Eddie Wilmot doing the honours. David McGregor of Dumfries. He said he'd get a medal, and there's the proof. Silver medalist. And Angus Barr, that really brave swim against the 2 older swimmers in the final heat. He takes a well-deserved gold, yet another one for Angus. Time of 16:15. Photo time. And the 16, 17-year-olds up next. So we talked a bit about James Stephen on his swim. And for his efforts, he picks up a bronze medal. First swimmer. He was behind Ross Gale in the second heat, and Ross Gale picks up the silver, ran 96. And ahead of them from the final heat was North Ayrshire's John Wright. I think that's his first medal of the week, so if you're going to get the first one on day 4, let's make it a gold. Well done, John, and the others. And our third presentation is the 18 and overs. Derwent side swimmer Simon McCormack takes bronze. Slaughter in that great battle just edged out, so he takes silver, just behind his City of Glasgow colleague Ian Porteous, so he takes gold. Are you happy about that? Looks pretty happy.
He'll be chuffed to be in the podium next to his chum. It's always a nice feeling. Training day in, day out together. It's nice to reap the rewards together.
Particularly if you're on the top and your chum's on.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's our one presentation of this morning's session. So we're back to swimming now. And next up we have boys 100 breaststroke. 8 heats to come in this one. In heat 1, we've got 5 swimmers. Ross Young of South Lanarkshire in 3, Aaron Gillan of Carnegie in 4, Fraser Tattersall of Woking in 5, Ross McPherson of South Lanarkshire in 6, Callum Mitchell of First in 7. Entry times here 1:17s, 1:18s. Good start in lane 3 from Ross Young of South Lanarkshire.
Yeah, he looks to be working really hard. His stroke rate's really high down this first length. Hopefully doesn't tie up down that last 15 metres or so.
95.12 for him at the turn. Just a 10th ahead of Ross McPherson, so 2 South Lanarkshire swimmers. Not too close here, and maybe just coming up now is Ross McPherson.
South Lanark traditionally good at producing breaststrokers as well as distance swimmers, so they've had a few really decent swimmers over the years. Corey Scott, the obvious one, who's going to the Commonwealth Games this year.
So that's Ross 1:14.18. He'll be very happy with that, you would think. Entered on 1:18.28, so more than 4 seconds of an improvement. Ross Young also a good improvement, 1:16.44. Callum Mitchell third, 1:18.79. So taking off 4 seconds as a 15-year-old, you have to be pretty happy with that, over 100 metres. On to heat 2, Ryan Buchanan of North Lanarkshire goes in lane 1. Finlay Dewar of Best in 2. Marcus Hills of Helensburgh in 3. Luke Stewart of City of Aberdeen in 4. Guy Haggerty of City of Glasgow in 5. Liam Nelson of Stirling in 6. Peter McManus of City of Glasgow in 7. Ross Mugo of Midlothian in 8. Kyle Pate of Fife in 9. And Scott Lyon of Highland in 10. Liam Nelson this time, first to 10, 34.75. Still, it is the sterling swimmer, Liam Nelson. Maybe a metre up on Midlothian's Ross Mugo. City of Glasgow's Guy Haggerty challenging Ross for second. And Liam Nelson, entry time 1:16.10. So we're going to see another good improvement here, 1:15.51. Guess the splits there, probably you'd want them perhaps slightly faster on the back end of that 34.75 front end.
Yeah, he did look like he was dying down that last 50 metres. Start to tie up. It's easy to do in wrestling. As soon as you start to feel the pain, it's easy to let the hips drop, and it becomes so hard.
That's still improved on his entry time by over half a second, so can't be too unhappy with that. It's just taking a little while to scroll the board, and unfortunately that's because there's a disqualification, and that was Guy Haggerty in lane 5. So the 1-2-3, Liam Nelson 1:15.51, Finlay Dewar 1:17.76 in second, and Marcus Hill's taking third, 1:18.03.
I think that might have been for something he did in the blocks. He looked a bit twitchy, I would say, before the start. So.
On to heat 3, Kieran Pate of Fife Performance in 1, Gareth Haberfield of First in 2, Samuel Jones of West Lothian in 3, Fraser Samuel of East Lothian in 4, Daniel Gibson, City of Aberdeen in 5, Neil McRoberts of Warrender in 6, Daniel McGregor also of Warrender in 7, Martin McInnes, City of Glasgow in 8, Grant Oakleby of Carnegie in 9, Cameron Arnott of City of Aberdeen in 10. Samuel Jones has had a good meet, and he turns first 33.72. 1:15 his entry time. But he's still got the advantage. In lane 5, Daniel Gibson. Lane 8, Martin McInnes. They're the leading 3, but Jones in lane 3, I think, has got the measure of them. I think we're going to see a good PB here, 1:12.99. So 2 seconds of an improvement for Jones there. And he takes it, 1:12.99. Daniel Gibson, 1:14.56. Just 100th behind him. Martin McInnes, 1:14.57 with Kieran Pate just 400th away from them. Heat 4, Callum McCall of Delting in 1, Jamie Eason of Stirling in 2, Samuel Johnson of Dumfries in 3, Joseph Miley of Geary in 4, David McDonald of West Lothian in 5, Stuart Cosgrove, City of Aberdeen in 6, Oscar Heald of Elgin in 7, Callum Robertson of Elgin in 8, Peter Holmes of Geary in 9, and Simon McDonald of Warrender in 10. Entry times here 1:13, 1:14. Going to get the touch. I think lanes 4 and 5 up there, but in fact it's lane 1, Callum McCall, the Shetlander, 34.33, not as fast as the previous heat. He's getting swallowed up a little bit now by the rest of the field. Lane 5 maybe now, David McDonald. Just got the edge, but very close indeed. Lane 3 moving up, Samuel Johnson. Things move between these two. McDonald takes it, 1:13.54. So So 2 West Lothian wins in a row. And he is confirmed as the winner there. Samuel Johnson second, 1:14.03. Joseph Miley third, 1:14.13. On to heat 5 now. Liam Buchanan of North Lanarkshire in 1. Greg Turner of Fife Performance in 2. Billy Davis of South Lanarkshire in 3. Ewan Dalgleish of West Lothian in 4. Matthew Paul of Northampton in 5. Josh Mitchell of South Ayrshire in 6. Toby Douglas of Best in 7. Ross Burns of South Lanarkshire in 8. Finley Douglas of Geary in 9. Daniel Tiffin of City of Aberdeen in 10.
Does look like Daniel in the outside lane. No, it's Greg Turner, closest to us, 33.41.
So that is our fastest halfway split by about half a second. Again, a pretty tight contest. Again, we've got a West Lothian interest in that. Ewan Dalgleish is moving up nicely in lane 4. Can they make it a hat-trick of wins here?
I think he will. He's coming through really strong now.
Lane 5 trying to go with him, Matthew Paul. But it is going to be 3 out of 3 for West Lothian. So they're on a roll here. 1:11.98 for Ewan and a PB for him as well. So Andrew Edison will be happy at the moment. West Lothian head coach. And confirmed there, 1:11.98 for Ewan. Matthew Paul second, 1:12.46. Josh Mitchell, 1:12.71, just ahead of Daniel Tiffin. So the bad news for West Lothian is they don't have a swimmer in this one, so that roll will end now as we have Alistair Crichton of Warrender in 1, Callum Deans of Elgin in 2, Cameron Park of South Lanarkshire in 3, Hendrik McFadden of South Lanarkshire in 4, Mark Sharanek of Carnegie in 5, Jack McComish of City of Glasgow in 6, Kieran Preston of South Aberdeenshire in 7, Tobermory Mackay Champion of Perth City in 8, Struan Stewart of East Lothian in 9, and Adam Poole of Warrington in 10.
Great start there from Mark Sharanek. Not usually used to seeing him in the breaststroke events, but he had a really good dive there. He's taken the pressure off a lot now, obviously saving himself for the final tonight.
Tobermory Mackay Champion now taking it on in lane 8. The Perth swimmer, Midlands champion. He's about a metre up on the swimmer beside him, Kieran Preston of South Aberdeenshire. Gold medalist in the 200 breaststroke. So it's Mackay champion who takes it 1:07.73. So that sets the standard for the next 2 heats. And again, a nice improvement there from Tobermory, entered 1:09.01. Confirmed there as the winner, with Preston second, 1:08.27, ahead of Jack McComish. On to heat 7, Callum Reid of Warrender in 1, Callum McBeath of Forres in 2, Scott MacArthur of Stirling in 3, Cameron Muir of South Ayrshire in 4, Daniel Lim of Warrender in 5, Ian Rose of Warrender in 6, Chris McComb of East Lothian in 7, Craig McLean of Carnegie in 8, Matthew Fennick of South Lanarkshire in 9, Cameron Broadfoot of Warrender in 10. You expect the 2 Warrender swimmers to be the favourites here. When Craig McLean's in the pool, you never really know, but not renowned as a breaststroker.
No, and it is Daniel Lim out hard. He's really taken the gas off as well.
course, these older swimmers, not a lot of competition for places in the final here, so they can afford just to go on a bit of a country stroll here in the morning sessions. Ian Rose is taking it more seriously, though, and he is looking likely here in lane 6. 1:06 his entry time. He's going to be just a little bit away from that, 1:07.23, but half a second faster than Toba Mori Mackay, champion in the previous heats.
Yeah, I would think he'll be pretty pleased with that. He'll be in a good position to beat his PB tonight, so he'll be chuffed with that. Decent heat swim.
Yep, Ian Rose with a decent pedigree in that event. He is a youth bronze medalist last summer, and he takes that 1:07.23. Muir second, 1:08.19, and Fennick third, 1:08.52. Heat 8, Ross Hughes of North Ayrshire in 1, Craig Watt of West Lothian in 2, Callum Laurie of First in 3, Craig Barnes of Carnegie in 4, Chris Kerr of Warrender in 5, Rory Shirley, City of Glasgow in 6, Benedict Tortolano of Stirling in 7, Greg Watson of Malgai and Bearsden in 8, Donny Price of South Mainland in 9, and David Muir at Ren 96 in 10. So another Warrender swimmer, Chris Kerr, be the fancied one here again. He has to decide that he wants to really push it on in the second half. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, he's at the front, but 31.1 isn't particularly fast for him, so he might be trying to pace it a little bit more sensibly than the others.
Still holding the advantage from lane 8. That is Greg Watson of Mulgai and Bearsden. Beside him, Stirling's Benedict Tortolano. Is going to be Chris Kerr, who leads them in, 1:06.86. He will be the fastest qualifier for the 18 and over final. He'll have his teammate Ian Rose beside him, so there should be good points for Warrender in that race tonight. Just waiting for the board to scroll. So I just wonder whether there is a query on this one. It could be about times, but I'm seeing a disqualification coming up, and it is lane 1, Ross Hughes, unfortunately goes.
I think Chris Kerr was worried for a second there. He was disqualified in the 200. That would have been a bit of a nightmare.
Well, he survives to swim tonight, 1:06.86. Watson second, Tortolano third, 1:07.81 and 1:08.32. Chris Kerr does get DQ'd a bit, doesn't he?
Yes, I asked him yesterday what he got disqualified for. Apparently his legs just crossed over in one of his kicks, so just something that he does every day, just maybe a lapse of concentration, so unpredictable to say the least.
So we move on to girls 100 backstroke now. 9 heats. 4 going in heat 1. Ellie Neal of Warrender in 4. Abigail Mason of South Aberdeenshire in 5. Bethany Brodie of South Lanarkshire in 6. Erin Robertson of West Lothian in 7. Entry times here all around 1:13. In fact, just 2/10 between the 4 of them. So it should be close here. Coming up to the turn. Lane 4 leading them through. Ellie Neal, 35.54. Just half a second separating the 4 of them. Lane 6 edging up. Bethany Brodie. She's now just gone into the lead. Beside her, Erin Robertson, pushing to try and get second from Ellie Neal. Oh, pretty close, but I think it will be Bethany who takes it. And she does 1:13.28. Quarter of a second inside her entry time. Second place, Erin Robertson. just did get ahead of Ellie Neal in the end there. 1:13.76, 1:13.85 for Erin and Ellie. And that result now confirmed. To heat 2. Hostia Ernute of Geary in 1, Katie Golder of Midlothian in 2, Claire Lee of Carnegie in 3, Phoebe Cartwright of Warrender in 4, Madeline Gill of Stirling in 5, Sarah Buchan of Afford in 6, Kate Story of Helensburgh in 7, Erin Cole of City of Aberdeen in 8, Kate Saxon of South Lanarkshire in 9, and Megan McGee of Carnegie in 10.
A lot of the girls trying to use the 15 metres off the start there, but some of them, without the best of fly kicks, it probably would have been better to get up and start swimming. Obviously good to put the skills in practice and training, but need to be on it in a race.
Would you not want to try and apply those skills even if you haven't quite mastered them yet and get yourself into the habit of doing that?
It obviously is good to be in the habit, but you want, when it comes to racing, you want to be in the habit of doing them well instead of, if you get into the rhythm of doing them poorly, then that could be a trend when you come in to do more races in the future.
Kate Saxon in lane 9. Looks as if she's going to take this one. And she comes in 1:12.61. Improves by 4/10 on her entry time. Kate Story in second, 1:13.10. Third place swimmer, always struggle with her name, Elstia Ernute. Geeta Whitehead from the Geary team constantly trying to get me to pronounce her name right. Hopefully one day I'll get it right. On to heat 3. In heat 3, we have Heather Malvani of City of Aberdeen in 1, Stephanie Strang, Dundee City Aquatics in 2, Lauren Sutherland of Midlothian in 3, Erin Rafferty of Carnegie in 4, Danny Buchanan, North Lanarkshire in 5, Megan Branney of Dumfries in 6, Lindsay Sword of First in 7, Lois Smith, City of Aberdeen in 8, Claire Dow of Inverleith in 9, and Jessie Harper of Warrender in 10.
Erin Rafferty off to a strong start. She's got a nice smooth stroke.
She turns 34.54, about half a second faster than the previous heat. 1:11.39 her entry time. As part of the black and white army that is Carnegie.
Certainly made their presence felt this weekend.
Yep, especially if you're sitting close to them in the finals. You certainly know they're there. Probably the best supported team in these championships, certainly in terms of noise. And a good swim from Erin. Improves her entry time by 1600ths, 1:11.23. Megan Branney touching second, 1:12.35, ahead of Lauren Sutherland. Still, once again, taking a little time to scroll the board, so see if there's a problem here. No, looks like we're okay. Rafferty then, 1:11.23. Branney second, Sutherland third. Next up, heat 4. Emily Hewitson of Dumfries in 1, Emma Mason of Stirling in 2, Megan Laurie of Warrender in 3, Michelle Hoppin of South Ayrshire in 4, Kirsty Pitts of Perth City in 5, Lucy McGee of North Lanarkshire in 6, Katie Smith of East Lothian in 7, Jennifer Dixon of First in 8, Megan Feld of South Aberdeenshire in 9, and Gull Simonal of West Lothian in 10. 110s up to 111 dead, the entry times here. It's Emily Hewitson, 34.31. The swimmer you don't really think of as a breaststroker, more of a distance freestyler into the Dumfries programme.
Dumfries are really starting to make a strong programme down the borders there.
Simonal going well over on the far side, so well spread out here. Lanes 4 and 5 up there as well. Hoffin and Pitts. Touch, in fact, does go to Kirsty Pitts, 1:11.13. Nice finish from her. And looks like we've got a tie for second there. Emily Hewitson and Michelle Hoffin, both on 1:11.29, just 400ths ahead of Gull Simonal.
Might just end up with a swim-off for those two if we're lucky.
Haven't had a swim-off in these championships yet. That's pretty unusual by the time you get to day 4. Usually I've had 1 or 2 by then. Let's wait and see. Heat 5, Natalie Lees, West Lothian in 1, Ailsa Beck of South Aberdeenshire in 2, Ellie Gallagher of Warrender in 3, Lauren Pirway of First in 4, Emily Horn of Perth City in 5, her teammate Erin Cummins in 6, Eve White of Dumfries in 7, Katrina Fowley of North Ayrshire in 8, Hannah Jurich of Warrender in 9, and Kirsty Forsyth of West Lothian in 10. Coming to the turn, and pretty much the whole field turning together there. Ellie Gallagher just getting the touch, 34.38. Pretty much identical split to the previous heat. I think Ellie, well, in fact, Erin Cummins now, I think, has the advantage in lane 6.
Beautiful stroke from Erin, so smooth. No splash or no waste in her stroke at all.
So she's in the 15-16 age group. She now has about a metre on Ellie Gallagher. They're going to be the 1-2. Erin Cummins, 1:09.50. Second place, Ellie Gallagher. Katrina Fowley taking third, just 400ths ahead of Hannah Jurich. Assuming that result gets confirmed. It hasn't been yet. Now it has. Cummins, Gallagher and Fowley, the 1-2-3. Next up, Heat 6, Ali Bazarian of Hong Kong in 1, Emily Tang of Mulgai and Bearsden in 2, Cara Layden of Kelly College in 3, Beth Armour of City of Aberdeen in 4, Jordan Sturt of Warrender in 5, Robin Crawford, City of Glasgow in 6, Shannon Crawford of Geary in 7, Mari Swanson of Warrender in 8, Victoria Milburn of City of Glasgow in 9, and Brooke Gillies of Carnegie in 10. Emily Tang turns 33, 6-1. Robin Crawford up there in 6. Beside her, Shannon Crawford. Lane 9, Victoria Milburn. So all change in the second half here. And it's the two Crawfords. I think they're going to be first and second. And it's the Geary Crawford, Shannon, who takes it, 109.12. Shannon, bronze medalist last year, looking to return to the podium tonight. She takes that heat, 109.12. Robin Crawford, 109.75 in second. Emily Tang in third place, 110.57. Heat 7, Sarah Donnelly of Carnegie in 1, Alex Cunningham of East Lothian in 2, Brigitte Maria Kwong of Hong Kong in 3, Jennifer King of North Ayrshire in 4, Kirsty Simpson of Carnegie in 5, Karen Reid of South Ayrshire in 6, Tane Bruce of Carnegie in 7, Anna Souter of Hearts in 8, Caroline McIntosh, City of Aberdeen in 9, Jenna Lafferty of First in 10.
Karen Reid, you're really using her 50 skills down this first length. She's out really quick.
Yep, 31.70, 2 seconds faster than the previous fastest heat.
She still looks really good. She's still working really hard for this race.
Yep, she has some form in the 100 as well. She was a finalist in the youth final in the British Championships in April. Reigning national age group champion. And certainly
good swim from her. She's taking the others apart in this race.
Yep, the two Carnegie girls second and third, but that was an emphatic victory for Karen, 104.59. Entered 103.90, so only 6/10 away from that, and that's a good heat swim. Kirsty Simpson, 106.29, takes second. Tane Bruce, 106.58. It's Tane's birthday today, 16 today, so no chance of a 15-year-old age group record anymore. She got one last night, just in time.
Yeah, she has been having a great week. That'll just be the cherry on top, being at her birthday.
To heat 8, Sophie Ross of West Lothian in 1, Cara Smith of Stirling in 2, Chloe Barclay of Western Bartonshire in 3, Emily Grant of City of Aberdeen in 4, Lucy Hope of Best in 5, Chelsea Lawson of Carnegie in 6, Shona Mackey of West Lothian in 7, Lisa Curry of South Lanarkshire in 8, Ivy Lauren Richter of Hong Kong in 9, and Megan Kerr of Western Bartonshire in 10. So second outing of the morning for Lucy Hope. And leading once again, 31.78. Pretty similar split to Karen Reid's.
Yeah, two of her best events this morning, I would say. 200 free and 100 back. She'll be wanting to really push for the gold in the final tonight.
Beside her, Chelsea Lawson. And on the other side, Emily Grant. And these three well clear of the others, but it's Hope about a body length up, who takes it, 104.92. Not quite as fast down the second half as Karen Reid. 102.20 entry time for Lucy, so expect faster tonight.
Karen will obviously be in the younger final as well, so that'll have Lucy in lane 5 for the final tonight, depending on what these guys do in the final heat.
Yep, Miley, Matos and Sharples may have other ideas. They're ready to go. Heat 9, Charlie Cavens of Warrender in 1, Rachel Saxon of South Lanarkshire in 2, Orla Adams of Geary in 3, Hannah Miley of Geary in 4, Raquel Matos of East Lothian in 5, Rachel Sharples of East Lothian in 6, Hayley Duthie of City of Aberdeen in 7, Katie Phillips of St Thomas in 8, Julie Williams of Malgai and Bearsden in 9, Mari High of Wren 96 in 10.
I think Raquel Matos went a wee bit past the 50 metres off the start then. It looks as though she knows it. She's really taken the pressure off.
So that's leaving it to Hannah Miley, 32.24, a little slower than the previous 2 heats. Sharples and Duthie side by side for second place. I'm sure you're right about Raquel Matos. She's just coasting herself in now, and it's Miley pulling away. The body length clear, so 104.92 was Lucy Hope's time, so she does get it. You called it right, Mark. 105.46 for Miley. Duthie second, 106.46. Sharples third, 106.85. And you called it right as well on Raquel Matos, because she is disqualified in lane 5. So the confirmed result, Hannah Miley, 105.46 in first place. Hayley Duthie, 106.46 in second. Rachel Sharples third, 106.85. So we've seen a couple of times that happening this week.
Yeah, and both from fly specialists, Tame Bruce and Raquel Matos, both really strong in the flies, are trying to use their skills on the underwater, but just pushing it a little bit too far.
So talking about fly skills, we're about to see some more, because we've got the boys 200 butterfly coming up next. 6 heats to come in this, our last individual event of the morning session. Six swimmers go in Heat 1. Logan Jimmerson of Lerwick in 3. Richard Faulkner of South Ayrshire in 4. Callum Robertson of Elgin in 5. William Poynton of Portsmouth North Sea in 6. Aaron Stowe of Fife Performance in 7. Andrew Sawkins of Hearts in 8.
Callum Robertson from Elgin in 5. William Poynton from Portsmouth North Sea going in lane 6. Aaron Stowe.
Richard Faulkner first to turn, 30.71. Half a second up on the Heart swimmer Andrew Sawkins. William Poynton, Portsmouth North Sea. .224s to 226 is the entry times here. Richard Faulkner. Couple of third places in West District competition, both long course and short course. And he turns into the second half 105.99, so around about 35 second pace for his second 50. So I would suggest something in the around range of 2:16 here if he can keep this pace going. So that would be a terrific improvement if he can maintain that. 2:24.70 as entry time.
Still looking good for it. Still looks fairly comfortable. Obviously 200 fly, being such a difficult event, you can often tell when people are starting to feel the pain, but he looks all right. Looks good for his lead.
The pace has dropped a bit there in that third 50, 1:43.80, so that was around about a 38 that time. Still well inside his entry time, but maybe just tying up a little bit. And that's allowing the Portsmouth swimmer, William Poynton, maybe to start to attack him down this final length.
Yeah, you can see it now. You can start to feel the pain. He's got the man sitting back on his shoulders. He's feeling really heavy.
So it's going to be a test of willpower here for Richard to try and hold this one. Still got it, and I think he will hold on to it. So a brave effort there, 2:22.93, when everything must have been hurting like anything there down that last length. Improves by nearly 2 seconds on his entry time. Maybe just went out a bit fast.
Yeah, he went out to, maybe had a target time in mind, knew he had to go out fast in the first 100, but he definitely paid for it down that last 25 in particular.
But all credit to him. He stuck to it well there. We're just waiting for the board to be scrolled. Don't quite know what's holding us up here. Faulkner we would expect to see at the top of the board when it does. Oh, unfortunately he's been disqualified. Oh, that's a shame. So it means that Poynton takes it 2:23.48, Sorkin second, Robertson third. Any thoughts about what that might have been for?
Not sure what that's for. It is a shame. It's a decent swim, a brave swim from him as well, but no, I'm not sure. Probably round the walls, maybe a one-handed touch or hands touching one on top of the other is what I would expect.
So into second heat, Adam Airley of North Lanarkshire goes in 1, Matthew Paul of Northampton in 3, Adam Poole of Warrington in 4, David McDonald of West Lothian in 5, Hamish Milne of Perth City in 6, Callum McCall of Delting in 7, Andrew Irvin of Stirling in 8, James Collier of Carnegie in 9, Daniel Ryan of Dumfries in 10. That's the Warrington swimmer touching first at the 50, 29.81. About 9/10 faster than the previous heat. Finalist in this event last year. He's been a regular visitor up to the Scottish national age groups.
Yeah, Warrington often send a couple of swimmers up to the age groups. I remember back in the day, Timothy Almond was a name that used to always crop up in the breaststroke events, but Adam Poole doing it for them nowadays.
But he's not had such a good second 50, and that means that Hamish Milne now and has just nudged past him, 1:04.48. He's still very much there though. In lane 4, in the yellow cap, and beside him Matthew Paul of Northampton. West Lothian swimmer David McDonald trying to stick with the leading group as well. Looks like it's maybe Matthew Paul now in lane 3 who's got the advantage. Yep, 1:41.65. And he has really swum this the way it should be swum. Pacing himself in the first half and pushing on hard in the second half. And in the end, it's going to be a pretty emphatic win for him.
Yeah, he's bringing the legs in really well now as well. They're really keeping his body position nice and high. He's going to finish this race really strongly.
So excellent swim from the Anglo-Scot from Northampton, 2:18.52. So maybe one to keep an eye on there, the 17-year-old. David McDonald of West Lothian in second place, just 500ths ahead of our early leader, Adam Poole. 3. James McFarlane of West Lothian goes in 1. Thomas Harrison of Warrender in 2. Oliver Kincart of Portsmouth North Sea in 3. Callum Deans of Elgin in 4. Murray Quellant of Aberdeen in 5. Stuart Cosgrove, City of Aberdeen in 6. Callum McGregor of Five Performance in 7. Alistair Robertson of Aberdeen in 9. And David McGregor of Dumfries in 10. Alistair Robertson, first to turn, 29.06. 3/4 of a second faster than the previous heat. He's certainly gone off pretty strongly there in lane 9.
Yeah, Alistair's another one of these North District swimmers that are coming through pretty strong just now. Still looks fairly comfortable, looks good for his lead at the moment.
Doing well also on the near side. Keep an eye on James McFarlane. He's only a couple of tenths back now. So 1:03.62 for Alistair, 1:03.84 for James. So West Lothian having a pretty good morning here. Some excellent improvements from their swimmers. 2:18.50 is the time that James will be trying to improve upon. Still pretty close, I think, between lanes 1 and 9. Maybe it still is with Alistair in lane 9. Let's just check on the board. Yes, it is. By nearly 9 tenths, 1:39.04. Group of swimmers, lanes 2, 3 and 4 behind the leading 2. And it looks like Alistair Robertson has the strength down the home stretch here and is well clear now. Coming up nicely in lane 4 is Callum Deans. He's challenging for second, but good swim from lane 9 there. 2:15.41 for Alistair. Improves by nearly 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, decent swim from Alistair. He looked fairly comfortable through that whole race. His stroke was really long. Didn't really start to drop his hips at all at any point. It was a good swim.
Callum Deans did take second, 2:18.25, and third place. Alan McGregor, 2:20.03. James McFarlane just dying a bit there, I think, in that last length.
Yes, as soon as you start to feel it in the two and the fly, it's a long way to go. No matter if it's 100 or if it's 25, it always feels like such a long way.
So, in fact, there's an adjustment to his time, so we did a bit of a discredit there. So, 2:18.60, James McFarlane brings him back up to third. Still a bit of a pause in proceedings here, so just see if they are absolutely happy with that last result. Just means that people just have to wait a little bit up the blocks there. Jittery period when there's a bit of a pause like that.
Yeah, but these older guys will be used to it.
So on to heat 4 then, and we're off and away. Ross McDonald of Wren 96 in 1, Ewan Ronald of Northampton in 2, Cameron Finlayson of Hearts in 3, Callum Reid of Warrender in 4, Stuart McIntosh, City of Aberdeen in 5, Alistair Miley of Geary in 6, Fraser Lowther of Dumfries in 7, Tom Bealey of Aberdeen in 8, Joe Steele of South Aberdeenshire in 9, and Finlay Williamson of East Lothian in 10. So Stuart McIntosh, the fastest entry time here. He's had a good week so far.
Yeah, he has had a decent week. He's picked up a couple of golds. Really using the turns well. He's usually really confident when it comes to district meets, but when it comes to Scottish, he sometimes buckles under the pressure. But he'll be taking this heat swim fairly comfortably. He's one for picking up in the finals, so expect him to feature quite heavily tonight.
So featuring at the moment is Callum Reid of Warrender in lane 4. Just missed the medals last year, 4th place. So I'm sure he'll want to improve on that. He's going to have some tough competition to do that, the 19-year-old from Warrender, but he's a swimmer who works really hard and has made good progress in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he does look really good at the moment. Strokes really surging away from the rest of the field.
The only one really going with him is the 16-year-old Cameron Finlayson of Hearts, a promising butterfly swimmer, under coach Phil Potter.
Yeah, Phil traditionally a good fly coach. He's coached many decent fly swimmers over the years. So Cameron may be part of that new breed.
So I guess Louise Pate probably the one that stings to mind there.
Yeah. A few of the younger girls as well are really coming through.
But this is Callum Reid, and it's clearly his race. Alistair Miley's moved up into second place, but Callum Reid has taken this heat to him very seriously. 2:07.46. Inside his entry time. 2:09.86 for Alistair Miley. Fraser Lowther taking third, and as we said, Stuart McIntosh, the fastest entry time, just 6th place there. But let's see what he can do this evening. So what's the thinking there to push it that hard in the heats?
Just a bit of confidence, maybe. Maybe that's just the plan for his meet, to go in and smash out every race as hard as possible. That often happens, especially with the Warrender bunch.
On to heat 5 then. Mark Elric of first in 1, Logan Darby of Middlesbrough in 2, Henry Mackenzie of Warrender in 3, Jordan Hughes of North Ayrshire in 4, Craig Bowman of Carnegie in 5, Felix Gifford of City of Aberdeen in 6, Matthew Anderson of Warrender in 7, Joseph Miley of Geary in 8, Ross Leslie of South Lanarkshire in 9, and James Lauder of Hearts in 10. So Craig Bowman, I think, would be the fancied one here. 2:02 his entry time.
Yeah, I think if him and Mark are firing on all cylinders tonight, it'll be a cracking race. Mark Sharanek, that is.
Yep, the 2 Carnegie swimmers. We'll see Mark in the next heat. And this time it's Bowman, and he leads by about a metre from Felix Gifford. Felix has gone well. He's been on the podium a few times.
Yeah, he's had a decent meet. He wasn't too happy with his 53 last night, but other than that, he's been fairly on it.
So 1:00.62, slightly slower than Callum Reid split. And as we said, no real need to absolutely kill yourself in these heats.
Nah, that looks comfortable from Craig Bowman. He'll be saving himself for tonight. Obviously, if you go for it in a 200 fly, it's going to take a lot out of you, so he will be trying to conserve as much energy as possible.
Of course, Craig off to the European Juniors this year. So imagine he'll be in pretty heavy training at the moment.
Yeah, wouldn't expect him to probably do a PB at this meet, but he's still looking good for his victory just now. Stroke looks decent.
Felix Gifford is sticking with him though, and just as the closing length, as Bowman maybe just easing back, and Gifford says, right, okay, well, I'll go past you.
Yeah, Felix doesn't really believe in taking it too easy in the heats. He loves to smash it out every time.
And that's what he's doing here. And hard into the wall there, 2:08.28. Entry time for him, 2:05.8, so around about 2.5 seconds just away from that.
Yeah, he'll have more to come tonight as well, but definitely working hard in that second 100 just to give himself a bit of confidence going into tonight.
Henry Mackenzie not completing the race, so in lane 3, so the confirmed 1, 2, 3, Felix Gifford 2:08.28 takes it. Craig Bowman second, 2:10.33, and Logan Darby third, 2:13.07. On to heat 6, Callum Laurie of first in 1, Craig Barnes of Carnegie in 2, Edward Gray, City of Glasgow in 3, James Black of Warrender in 4, Mark Sharanek of Carnegie in 5, Ryan Brown of Best in 6, Chris Lowther, City of Glasgow in 7, Cameron Nelson of Carnegie in 8, Samuel Jones, West Lothian in 9, and Conor McNeil of Ren 96 in lane 10. So we talked about Mark Sharanek, but we've also got an interesting contest maybe here. James Black and Ryan Brown in the 16-17 age group.
Yeah, Ryan Brown's a fighter, and he won't give up the first place easy in this race. He'll be probably trying to keep one eye on swimming tonight, but he struggles. He loves the competition. He loves to get in and about the victory, whatever race he's in.
And he does have the edge at the moment. So Brown, 10059. So we've had 3 heats now in the 60-point range. Sharanek 101. So those two just a metre or so apart. And then it's another Carnegie swimmer, Cameron Nelson, 16-year-old.
Looks like Ryan's been doing a wee bit of work in his stroke. It doesn't look as scrappy as it has done in the past. It looks really smooth.
Coached by Alex Jordan down in the borders. Kelso-based swimmer. Turns for home. 133.70. So another one, I guess, we were talking about Felix Gifford earlier on, and Callum Reid as well, who pushed it pretty hard in the heats, and I think that's what Ryan is doing here.
Yeah, Ryan only really knows one way to swim, and that's as hard as he can. It's going to be a decent time for him this morning. Might be just outside his PB, but yeah, decent swim. Good heat swim, 2:06.48.
Yep, that's the fastest overall, and clearly the fastest in the 16-17 age group, because he's in the young end of that age group, so it'll be a good performance to take on, well, the heats. He took on all comers and he's won. In the final, he'll be taking on the 17-year-olds, and he'll fancy his chances after that.
Yeah, probably Ryan's strongest event. He's really strong in that 200 fly. He'll be wanting the victory tonight, no doubt.
So we finish off this morning's session with the first heats of a couple of relays, starting with the girls' medley relay, 4x100. Got 6 teams in this first heat. Of course, it's all about setting the marker for tonight's heat. Not yet seen any medals come out of the early heat. It can be done though. Entry time's 4:33 up to 4:49 in this one. So the 6 teams first B team, led off by Jennifer Dixon in lane 3, Sterling with Cara Smith in 4. Another B team from Warrender this time in lane 5, led off by Ellie Gallagher. Carnegie B team in 6 with Chelsea Lawson. Surprised to see her in a B team, but there you go. Perth City, Kirsty Pitts in 7, St Thomas in 8, led off by Sarah Cummins. So you'd expect Chelsea Lawson to dominate this backstroke leg. And she's not disappointing, 32.21, already up by over a second. Of course, Carnegie have a wealth of riches in the backstroke with Chelsea, Kirsty Simpson.
Yeah, I think it would have been Kirsty Simpson that maybe just pipped her to the A-team spot. Maybe just John Sharanek maybe just fancies her a bit more over the 50, over the 100, sorry.
Yep, Chelsea probably more of a 200 specialist. 105.35 is her split for the 100 back there. And she hands over to Zoe Mitchell. Sterling just ahead of Warrender. In second place, Ali Spencer now taking on for Sterling against Jordan Sturt for Warrender. Perth in 4th place, Kirsten Duncan, Rachel Nardoni for them. It's Kirsten Duncan going for St Thomas behind them. Just ahead of them is the first swimmer, Elise.
Ellie Spencer taking Stirling back into contention here. Thursday swimmer down studying in Stirling.
Yep, she's been down there for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And seems to be taking her swimming pretty seriously down at Stirling. She's been a strong talent, particularly in the breaststroke. And she is almost up now with Carnegie. Zoe Mitchell just has the edge, but, well, there's only about a metre in it now. So we come to the halfway point. These two teams well clear of Warrenderby. 2:25.43 for Carnegie, 2:25.72 for Stirling. Claire Maloney now on the butterfly for Carnegie against Stirling's Ella Shilliday. Third place Warrenderby. Anna Jurich just ahead of first Gemma Brown. Still fairly competitive between Carnegie and Stirling. Claire Maloney, Ella Shilliday look pretty well matched here. Warrender still holding third, ahead of first. Claire Maloney just building the lead now in the latter stages of the butterfly.
Ella seems to be dying a little bit. She needs to get to the wall, make sure she finishes fast so her teammate can do a fast takeover.
3:35.29. The advantage just over a second. It's not all over yet. Brooke Gillies for Carnegie, Rosie Stanger for Stirling. Warinda's Ailsa Timoney in third place on her own, but she'll not catch the leading two as they approach the final turn. Still Carnegie have the edge. So Chelsea Lawson gave them the lead early on. They're still hanging on to it. It's about 8/10 now, so it's closing up a little bit more. Stirling will be pushing this all the way, but Carnegie holding them off at the moment. Half a length to go, and it's looking like it will be Carnegie taking this one. 4:34 was their entry time. I don't think they were going to be quite at that pace. So Carnegie are going to hold it. Stirling continuing to push, but Carnegie come in 4:37.92, 4:39.31 for Stirling, and Warrender taking third, 4:44.13. So you wouldn't expect that one to challenge the final heat, but it's a bit like being a leader in the clubhouse, I suppose. You've got the time, they've still got to do it.
Yeah, obviously there could be disqualifications or anything. Happens a lot in relays, so you never know. It might surprise us and get a medal.
And our last race of the morning will be the boys 15-18 4x100 freestyle relay. Again, this is the first heat, second heat tonight. 8 teams ready to go. Sounds like the crowd's getting in good voice for this one. So we have first led off by Callum Laurie in lane 2. City of Aberdeen's B team with Daniel Gibson in 3. Ren 96 with Ross McDonald in 4. Hearts with James Lauder in 5. St Thomas with Luke Shepherd in 6. North Lanarkshire with Nino Del Rio in 7. Aaron Gillen goes for Carnegie B in 8. And Peter Holmes leading off for Geary in lane 9. early lead with lane 6, Luke Shepherd for St Thomas, but with him, Aaron Gillen of Carnegie. Not a lot between those two. Hearts fairly close, so are North Lanarkshire. First changeover.
Strong first leg from St Thomas. Good lead off from Luke Shepherd. He's giving them a good lead.
Taking it over now for them, Nathan Watt. Hearts coming up strongly with Andrew Sawkins in lane 5. Lane 8, Carnegie P with Cameron Nelson, and beside them for North Lanarkshire it's Grant Henderson. So they're the 4 teams in contention. Looks like Hearts maybe just, well, certainly alongside St Thomas now. 2 of them turning pretty much together. St Thomas just with the edge still. Nathan Watt holding on to the lead. Narrowly, very narrowly. Hearts continuing to attack.
Looks as though Andrew's going to come through him in this last 50 metres or so. His legs are really kicking strong now.
Yeah, but his Hearts just in the lead now, but it's only half a metre or so. 152.81 against 153.27. Third leg then for Hearts, it's Jamie Waller, Taylor Young for St Thomas. Looks like it's between these two now. Lane 3 for Wren, David Muir. Lane 7, North Lanarkshire's Adam Early. Lane 8, James Collier for Carnegie B. But focus on the 2 centre lanes here as Hearts and St Thomas continuing to do battle. And it looks like St Thomas have just got the lead back here. So a good third leg from Taylor Young, but coming back at him once again is Jamie Waller for Hearts.
Expect Cameron Finlayson to have quite a strong last leg as well.
Yep, and he has the advantage going in by 3/10, 250.22.
Joe Yeoman had a good third leg for St Aberdeen in that third leg. He's putting them into third place. Typically a backstroker, but trying his hand at the freestyle.
So it is Hearts from St Thomas. Ross Geddes on the anchor leg. For City of Aberdeen, it's Daniel Tiffin now on the final leg, trying to continue the progress from Joe Yeoman. But at the front, it is still a Hearts-St Thomas contest ahead of City of Aberdeen, and it's Hearts with the upper hand here. As you predicted, Mark, it's Cameron Finlayson. He's pulling away, and look at those legs go as he comes through the 15 marker, and he's now about 3 metres up. So Cameron Finlayson with a storming finish for Hearts of Midlothian. They're going to take the last race of the morning session in pretty comfortable style in the end, 3:44.73. We've got a bad touch that we'll need to deal with. Probably a touch of the pad as one of the swimmers left the pool there from lane 4, so they're showing first, but 2:57 would be wishful thinking for them. Ross Geddes will be second, 3:48.23, and 3:40. Well, that, let's just check that. 3:47.96 looks like City of Aberdeen just sneaked second there.
Yeah, I think Niall Tiffin maybe just got the touch over the St Thomas guy there, Ross Geddes. But emphatic last leg from Cameron Finlayson. There's no doubt who the winner was.
So it's probably just going to take them a little while to sort out that last one, but it's been a good session, Mark.
Yeah, it's been a good morning session. It's my first morning of the week. It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Anything particular that stands out for you from it?
I think that 200 fly between the Carnegie guys is going to be the race of the night for me. I'm really looking forward to see if they really give it, if they give it 100%, both of them. It's going to be a fantastic race.
Just going back to that last one, unfortunately, there's a disqualification there. So that's come up on the board, and it's North Lanarkshire in lane 7. Still got that time from Wren 96 to sort out. In that same 200 fly, I'm impressed by Ryan Brown, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how fast he can go in the 16-17 final.
We'll have another good club head-to-head battle in the open 100 breaststroke. Chris Kerr and Daniel Lim will be battling that out, so that should be a good race too.
Yep, so lots to look forward to tonight, and of course we'll be back with the youngsters before too long, the afternoon session, so do tune back for that.
Craig Bowman, Mark Sharanek, Chris Lowther, Edward Gray, Stuart McIntosh, Joe Steele and Matthew Anderson. The reserve is Ross McDonald. And right on cue, we do have the confirmed result. We do have a disqualification to announce. The team from North Lanarkshire.
Sorry, I had lost my earpiece there, Jack.
St Thomas for second. City Rowing second, St Thomas third.
So the events this afternoon, it'll be, of course, the boys 11 to 13s and 14-year-olds, the girls 10 to 12s and 13s, and we'll get to do the program that we saw this morning again, 1500 freestyle for the boys, 200 free for the girls, 100 breast for the boys, followed by 100 back for the girls, 200 fly for the boys, and relays once again to finish off on. So that should be a good afternoon session. Hope you can join us then. In the meantime, I think that's us done for the morning session. Enjoyed your company, Mark, and we look forward to another exciting session swimming very shortly. Bye for now.
Welcome to Scottish Swimming's official YouTube channel. No matter if you compete or participate in swimming, disability swimming, diving, synchro, open water, water polo or masters, if you're a teacher, tutor or coach, or simply interested in what we're up to, this is the place to find it, from wherever you are in the world. On our channel, you can watch our key events live or on demand, or simply the highlights afterwards. All for free 24/7. If you subscribe, you'll not miss any new videos, so what are you waiting for?